It's always been good for the soul, but now it seems that there's research indicating that not only does it make you feel better when you're under the weather, but it may actually be good for you as well. Today, food editor Sarah Carey's here with recipes from the chicken soup article, which is the cover story of the January issue of Martha Stewart Living. And the whole article was inspired by Sarah's love of chicken soup, and your basic chicken soup is the best. I only cook your recipe.
No, thank you.
And so do you cook a lot of soup at home for the kids?
I do. The kids love soup. They started off with my mom's chicken soup, which is the one that I made for you back so many years ago. And so they're really used to having that. But I do like to mix it up a little bit and get inspiration from outside and try different things.
But start with the very best chicken that you can find. An organically grown chicken would be best, right?
All natural at the very least. Organic is preferable, but if you can't get it, it's really great to get just a really good...
You want me to cut it up? Or?
Do you want to?
I don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So it's all, you start with a whole chicken because you're making your broth and the soup at the same time. So you want all of the flavor that you're going to get from the bones and all of the good, even including the skin. And I do say that if you don't want the skin, you're taking it off at the end, but it adds flavor. It does add fat, but you skim a lot of that off. So don't worry about it so much. I just prefer to keep the flavor in.
Yep, I agree. It's very good.
So you can cut up your chicken no matter in any way that you want. It doesn't really matter. You just want to.
But you want the back in.
You want the back. You want the neck if it comes with the chicken, and you want everything in the pot and sort of smaller than it is. You could put the whole chicken in, but then you need to cover it with more water. Yeah. And then it dilutes the flavor a little bit.
I think that that's a less good idea. I love the way this turns out.
So you make it small, and then cover it with just the amount of water that you need to get it submerged, and that's about 8 cups. Okay. And Martha's expert at cutting up the chicken. She uses
I follow my butcher's instructions.
I know. I remember last year we had a whole conversation about cutting up chicken, and I was using a knife. But using scissors is a really great...
And don't be afraid to chop.
Yeah. Use a heavy knife for that part. Cut it up, throw it all in there, and then you can cut that in half or leave it whole.
Oh, no, I like to cut it in half.
And then you add 8 cups of water, which I'll start adding. This should be, in this size pot, this is an 8-quart pot. Obviously, depending on the width of your pot, it might take a little bit more, but don't put too much water.
A whole tablespoon
of salt. It's coarse salt, so if you're using fine salt, please use less. It's much saltier.
Bring that to a
boil
and then turn it down
and then turn it down. But what you want to do is, because as it's coming to a boil, all of this depends on the chicken, but a lot of foam could rise to the top, a lot of fat rises to the top.
Use their little strainer.
You want to get all this stuff out. Just skim it, and then you're going to add your flavorings to the soup, which in this case are onion, which I'll cut while you're skimming that.
I love skimming.
She does. She'll probably take 20 minutes if you let her get every single piece out, which is good because you don't want it sticking to your vegetables.
And you want a clear soup.
You want a clear soup. One of the things is you want it to come to a boil because it brings the scum out, but you don't want to cook it at a boil because then it'll reincorporate it right back into the soup, which
makes it
clouds
cloudy.
the stock. And that's...
Gosh, I remember using the egg whites to clarify.
Oh, I know. We should make consomme on the show one of these days. It's so fun.
Oh, it is. But yours is so clear anyway. I mean, it's
if you cook it slowly and gently, it should come out nice and clear.
Okay, most of the scum is off.
This soup is very, very simple. We're not making a stock ahead. We're making everything right in this pot.
3 whole onions. Okay.
It gives a nice sweetness.
It does.
And gives a lot of body to the broth.
And 4 garlic cloves.
4 cloves of garlic. Whole, because they just sort of break down. The soup simmers for about 30 minutes plus 40 minutes, so just a little over an hour. Okay. That you want to cook just until the chicken breast is cooked through. Okay. That'll take 30 minutes. Then oh wait, I forgot one thing.
I know, the celery.
Celery.
I was waiting for you.
Sorry.
Do it together.
I'll do it together. 2 stalks of celery. Now, I am not a huge fan of tons of celery. I feel like it's really strong, but it's an important flavor in this classic base of carrot, celery, and onion. And
so
I add
you don't add until the end.
Well, because you're eating the vegetables that are cooked in the soup, I add them a little bit later so that they don't overcook.
Right.
So this cooks for 30 minutes.
Doesn't that look pretty already? It's just like delicious. And 30 minutes, and you have the best chicken soup, feeling under the weather, your kid's in bed with a fever. That's what
so
they
you
should
cook
be
it for
eating.
30 minutes. Sorry, I was going to say, you take the chicken breast out, but leave the legs and the thighs in, so the
Okay.
chicken breasts don't overcook. Then you add your carrots. Cook that for 40 minutes.
Okay.
While that's
Take
cooking,
the skin off.
Take the skin off. Take the bones off. You can tear the meat or cut the meat into pieces.
And don't throw the skin away. You know who likes that? Francesca
dog.
and Sharky.
Yeah.
After they take their 10-mile run, they're hungry.
Well, that's a long run, so yeah, you definitely want to save it. And I find that you don't necessarily need all of the chicken that comes off of a 4-pound chicken for a
Right.
soup. So
Make
save
a
some.
sandwich.
Make a sandwich. Make chicken salad. You know, whatever you want.
Creamed chicken on toast.
Oh, okay. Cream chicken on toast. Why not? I just like to eat a little bit of chicken with grainy mustard and apple as a snack. I find that's really good. So I'm going to add some of this to the soup. About a couple of cups. You usually end up with about a cup or so left. And that's really it. You've made
Okay.
your stock and your soup and everything all together in one pot. You can tear it if you like it small. My kids actually like smaller pieces of chicken, so I tend to cut it up into little pieces
cubes.
because I feel like they're more likely to eat it. It's a little more appealing for them. But I like to keep the pieces
So look
of
how
vegetable
simple
nice and big.
and look how good, and it's so healthy, and it's nutritious. And let's serve up a bowl here.
And this is what I'm going to make. You know, anytime anybody says they're getting sick, I immediately say, "Oh, chicken soup,"
And it has a good color.
yeah, it's got a beautiful golden color. And it's nice and clear and delicious.
if you want, you can make some matzo balls.
Yeah,
and put it-
noodles.
Noodles can go in here, a little pasta. And look for the recipe in the January issue of Martha Stewart Living. Thank you. This is so great. Yummy. We're back with Sarah Curry, who says that by swapping the traditional seasonings of just onion, celery, and garlic and carrots using the basic chicken soup, which we have in our beautiful tureen right here, she came up with 3 additional soup recipes inspired by dishes found in Thailand, which is a Thai chicken soup, Colombia, which is here in the middle, and India. So the Thai soup, since I just got back from Thailand, I know what goes in that one.
Yeah, it's okay.
Garlic, shallot, lime, nunk mam, which is the fish sauce, some hot chili, and lemongrass.
And lemongrass. And that's everything gets strained out of that soup, so it's a clear broth. And you can add some fresh ginger and
Even a
lemongrass.
piece of avocado in it would be
Oh
good.
yeah, delicious. I was trying to keep them simple so that we could,
Yeah.
you know, that people would feel
But
comfortable
delicious.
making them.
So Colombian. Oh, I love Colombian soup. So you added what to this?
I added cilantro here as well, garlic, some chili, that's optional, I guess, carrot, tomato, and white onion instead of the yellow onion.
Okay.
And then at the end, you put in yuca, which is a very starchy root vegetable. If you don't have access to that, you could certainly use potato. And we were talking about before, you can actually, one of the things that's really common here is corn. But since it's January.
So different. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's completely
that tastes
different.
so different from that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just amazing. And how simple.
And then here we have our Indian-inspired one, which has some crossover ingredients too, but it's amazing the way they taste different. This one also has ginger and cilantro, regular onion, and then garlic, and then we have some scallion. And what we do is we cook all of these ingredients together with some tomato, and we strain it out, and at the end we fry and add some spices.
Okay, so what? Cumin
Oh, actually,
and...
those go in. It's cumin, mustard seed, and coriander. And those
yeah.
are very typical flavors. And at the end, you can squeeze in some orange. And you get this broad range of flavors using very similar techniques and
Really
just
good.
switching in different ingredients, which is...
I don't think your kids would like that one as
No,
much.
but you know what? I'm training them to taste,
Yeah.
you know, spicy foods and go to Indian restaurants. So gradually.
But good. Oh, really, really
Yeah.
tasty. I think this is so much fun, and no matter whether you sip or slurp or savor, a hot bowl of chicken soup is really delicious and this time of year. Sarah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much.